If I was going to define creativity, I think I'd define it as the engine that drives innovation.
Being able to see things in another way.
A state of mind.
Being curious and being open.
Get up and do the work and hope you feel good about it.
A lot of it is hard work, I'll tell you.
So you got to go through it and work it out till it happens.
You have to be very open to failure.
You come at difficult problems and you revel in the challenge of it.
Creativity embodies the human spirit at its best and sends it out, back out into the world, adds to the gene pool of good.
When we turn to the past, we see art, continually reborn like the flowers in the forest, treasuring for us the blossomings and witherings, the form of periods and societies and of individual souls, and, in symbol, bringing us the enveloping spiritual atmospheres. Anna B. Crocker.
When I walked into the Museum Art School, my life began. The life of my mind began.
I never did think that when I started there that was going to be the end all. But after a while, it seemed fine, so I stayed.
I've always thought the special quality of the school was the faculty. I know that Doug Lynch was there in the graphics department, and Manuel Fierro, George Johansson, Lita Kennedy. The faculty were really interesting people, very talented, in many cases gifted.
I was very close to Louis Bunce and Jack McClarty and Mike Russo almost from the beginning. The teachers felt that the students were their colleagues too.
40 years ago, the painting department was the cherry on the sundae. It was like being in heaven to be offered the chance to teach painting.
I think one of the beauties of being able to celebrate your centennial is not so much the celebration of where you are at that moment of being 100 years old, but the opportunity to look both back and forward and to remind ourselves that what we're doing now prepares the institution for a century of work and we hope accomplishment that will be our legacy in 2109.
I think what is beautiful about teaching art is that a lot of very intuitive things take place in your teaching. That you don't actually teach objectively or teach just facts, but you teach in a large measure by grappling with your students and feeling them out in a way that they don't even know themselves who they are. Mike Russo.
What inspires me as a teacher is the ability of art school to be an instrument of change for my students.
I look at my students as young colleagues and that there's a knowledge transfer, that hopefully I'm giving something to them and they're always giving something back to me.
If we don't train painters, if we don't train printmakers, if we don't teach people how to draw, we'll have people trying to do it by luck.
The kind of fundamentals that are taught in the school just became very, very important to me as a working artist, as a foundation for what I do.
Well, I think when you're a student, you just want a good teacher. But I think now as a teacher, I think to be the best teacher, you do your own work.
PNCA is an inspirational place to be as an artist because you're always surrounded by people who are trying to solve problems in their art, in their design, in the way they order the world.
My great inspiration truly comes from the human body and how different and alike it is between individuals. I also love the idea that we keep striving for that perfect representation of a human body. It seems always to be in lack of something, but I like that chase.
I suspect that my goals are still pretty much the same. I want to explore these kind of nebulous ideas that are better done than talked about. I think it's really important that we begin to think in a broader sense of what our purpose is here. And the arts, I suspect, have a role in this.
What inspires me as an artist is our ability to have platonic ideas that deviate in the real world, and making sense of the problems in life is what I feel art is for.
PNCA has gone from just an idea to one of the leading creative educational institutions, not only in Portland and the Northwest, but in the country.
The ambition of the institution right now is inspiring. It is drawing more students and more creative artists from outside the region now, and more artists wanting to participate with PNCA.
What it means to me to be a Lemelson scholar is simply about devotion and the ability to wholeheartedly pursue what it means to be an artist.
If you can give young people a sense of themselves and their place in the world, and give them a feeling of dignity and a feeling that they are important enough to do what they want to with their lives, that's the most important thing that you can give them.
PNCA's role is far more than just a fine art school. It now is sort of leading a way towards the evolution of Portland in its second 100 years.
That's measured not only by the production of visual arts culture that we find in places like Timberline Lodge and the Portland Art Museum, and in homes and in galleries all across the city, but also in the formation of a network of relationships of teachers to students that create and nourish an audience for what artists make and how they think.
So I am proposing that contemporary art is not only a vital aspect of our lives, or should be, but is also a paradigm of life, which, as we know, is complex, inexplicable, troubling, sometimes absolutely luminous. Rachel Griffin.
Art is a living matter. It's about living people speaking to each other and working with each other.
If you're not creative, if as a human being you're not creative, then you're half dead, I think.
Creativity, innovation is our future.
Well, I suppose it's intriguing to think anything could last 100 years. I mean, it may be something to say, look, if this place has been around 100 years, maybe we ought to keep it a little longer.